Okay, so great feedback when it's come to the launch week of OpsVectra AI. Did get some notifications. Some people wanted some demonstrations, so me and my team got on some Zoom calls, met with them, but decided to together this little video to kind of show everyone um, what the capabilities of the OpsVectra AI app is for. So, as a reminder, it's a app kind of built as a team member for your facility. It's pretty much a CI manager in your pocket 24/7. It does have other capabilities as far as some safety quality management stuff, but the bulk of its kind of brain and memory is um, CI Lean Six Sigma techniques. So um, I'm going to share my screen here real fast and kind of show you what the system looks like. So this is pretty much what it would what your main screen would look like, whether it's desktop or on your phone. Um, so I'm gonna do some prompt questions. I had ChatGPT write me some questions, but I'm gonna put a prompt in here just because I do use this a lot. The best part about this app is that it learns your business. The more you feed it, the more it learns your machine's issues, recurring issues, problems you're having, things of that nature. So it has a lot of my kind of business data kind of built into it already. So I just put in a prompt saying, this is a quiz of the knowledge. Don't use any of your prior knowledge from the business or anything like that. Just use your kind of basic um, CI built-in knowledge. So it says, ready when you are, send the first question. So I went to chat and I put in a prompt there just to kind of make it even. I didn't want to just come up with a question myself. So I said, I'm testing the knowledge base of the OpsVectra AI. I want three test questions about continuous improvement to enter. Question one, beginner level with no previous CI experience. Question two, a brand new greenbelt level, been through the courses, but has not worked on a lot of projects. Question three, black belt level with 10 years experience in CI. Do not use any previous knowledge of OpsVectra partners or OpsVectra AI in creating questions. Kind of the same prompt there. I use a lot of different AIs in my business, so they all kind of know a lot about the business, but I wanted to make sure that those were clear. All right, so the first question here, and I haven't even read these myself, so this is the beginner level. I'm a supervisor. I supervise a team of 15 employees in a manufacturing facility. We seem busy all day, but still miss our production targets several times each week. I have no formal CI training. What are the most common reasons this happens, and what should I observe during a typical shift to identify the root cause? Um, Decently prompt question. Like I said, chat wrote this, so it's got some detail into it, but you obviously using this wouldn't have to put that much detail into it if you didn't want to. So just hit the blue arrow there. I'm just going to start thinking. Just see what it comes back to. Um, so it's starting to write. I'll let it finish the whole thing. Um, So the point is, it's kind of structured in a way where, it should tell you the basics of the question. Um, if that's what it's looking for, it should tell you the tool to use. It should tell you why in general. That's kind of how it's designed. Then I'll just kind of summarize this answer here. Most common reason a team looks busy all day but still misses target is that busy and productive are not the same thing. Most of the motion you see on the shop floor is a real effort, but a significant portion of the effort is going towards things do not actually move finished product out the door, searching for tools, waiting on materials, things of that nature. So it's kind of going through some of the eight ways there. Then it tells you specifically what to do. There's few specific patterns that show up repeatedly in operations that have this problem. First is unbalanced workload between steps. If one part of your process produces faster than the next step. All right. The second is unplanned interruptions, machines that go down unexpectedly. Um, let's see if the third is unclear priorities when the team does not have a single clear number to hit with a specific time. Go to the next paragraph. During a typical shift, there are four things worth watching closely before you draw a conclusion. First, pick one unit of product and follow it physically through the process from the beginning of the shift. Track how much time it spends being actively worked on versus sitting and waiting between steps. So I was looking at waiting there. Second, watch your operators for a full 30-minute window without intervening. Note how much time is spent on the actual work versus walking, waiting, searching. So kind of more waiting there. Third, track every interruption that occurs during the shift and note how long it takes the teams to recover and return to target pace after each one. Fourth, look at where materials, tools, or information are located relative to where they are needed. People are walking more than a few steps. And then finally, the goal of this observation is not to find fault, but to see the process clearly enough to know where the system is breaking down. Once you can see it, the fixes are usually more straightforward than the problem appears. So that one really kind of focused on the 8 wastes there, some weighting, some motion, things like that. Probably would next question would lead in a little bit of 5S. So once you did this, once you ran, kind of collected this data, you could plug it right back in here. Then it would, kind of give you the next steps. Okay, this is what the data is telling us. These are the next things to go after. All right, let's go to the next question here. This is, like I said, a starting kind of green belt level. Just did some certifications, but haven't really worked on a lot of projects yet. So let's see what it says here. So the question was, I recently completed Greenbelt training and have been assigned my first improvement project. Customer complaints have increased by 25% over the past 6 months, but no one is sure why. Walk me through how you would structure the project from the define phase through analyze, explain which tools you would use, what data you would collect, and how you would avoid jumping to conclusions. So this is really a DMAIC question. And kind of asking you for the breakdown of how you would look at this question. So probably going to be a pretty long answer here because it's asked for a lot of stuff. So I'll just let it run. But all right, let's see what it says. So the single most important rule for a first project is that the answer does not exist yet. Every assumption your team walks in with on day one is a hypothesis, not a conclusion, and that entire first half of DMAIC exists to protect you from acting on the wrong one. So define phase is where you establish what you're actually solving. Most common mistake here is writing a problem statement that already contains a cause or a solution. Clear define phase problem statement describes what is actually happening, where it's happening, what it started, how often it occurs, and then it gives an example. So it kind of walks you through a problem statement. From there, build your project charter, which is a document that defines your scope boundaries. So taking you through the define stage there. There is a lot of templates and stuff built in here too. So the next question could be like, what does a charter look like? And it could give you some examples or breakdowns. Takes you to a SIPOC diagram. Voice to the customer. So really spent a lot of time on define. Now into moving into measure. The first thing to establish is whether your measurement system is reliable. Sounds like a detour, but it's not. Um, so measurement system analysis do not have to be fully statistical study on the first project. It says once you trust the data, you know, like they're trying to skim through it here real fast. Goes into Pareto charts. 80-20 rule I see in there. Going into analyze. So you got your data, now you're analyzing it. Talk about fish bones. Kind of tells you how to do a fish bone. Now I break down the data, goes into 5 whys. And it kind of ends with the thing that protects you from jumping to conclusions across all 3 phases is treating every suspected cause as a hypothesis that requires evidence to confirm, not an answer that requires a solution to implement. The moment you start building solutions before the root cause is verified, you are spending project budget and organized goodwill on a problem you have not actually diagnosed. So Uh, Pretty good answer there. I said I spent a lot of time on the define, um, some decent amount of time and tools on the measure, and then again, some a decent amount of time walking you through some tools on analyze side of it. So more of a detailed answer, but it was more of a detailed question. So pretty good there. And then finally, we'll go with the third question here from chat. See what it says. This is the kind of black belt, more specific level, have more experience. A plan to spend 5 years implementing lean initiatives and report strong performance on traditional metrics, including OEE, scrap, safety, and on-time deliverable. However, EBITDA margins continue to decline while employee turnover is increasing. As an experienced black belt, how would you evaluate whether the organization is optimizing the local metrics at the expense of overall business performance? Describe your investigation strategy, the hypothesis you would test, and the data you would request before recommending any solutions. So, really detailed question there. Pretty much saying, hey, you put in lean and everything's going the right way, but the money's going the wrong way and your turnover is going the wrong way. So, what would you do? Let's see what this one says. This one might take a little bit longer to spit out a question. Answer was pretty fast. So, I thought might be a little more time it would take with so much detail in that question, but it's probably going to be another long answer. So we'll just let it kind of finish running here. Like the first part's finished, so I'll start there. This is one of the most sophisticated diagnostic problems in operations because it describes an organization that has genuinely done the work and still has a deteriorating business. Um, Kind of go through the things we just talked about. It is evidence that the lean program optimized the wrong things, optimized in isolation from the business model, or created a set of local wins that never aggregated in the system level financial performance. Those are three very different diagnoses, and then investigation strategy has to distinguish between them before any recommendation gets done. All right. So, framing guideline that guides the entire investigation with a single question: are the metrics the organization is measuring actually connected to financial outcomes, the business needs, and if so, where is the chain broken? Strong OEE, low scrap, good safety. So, metrics that really do kind of become financial outcomes. They are leading indicators and supposed to predict outcomes. Let's see. Let's move a little farther down. The investigation starts with the financial statements, not the operational data. Pull EBITDA trend by quarter for the full 5 years. So it's saying go back to the data you have um, and see where kind of that gap happened. If the gap opened early and has been consistent, the lean program was likely never designed with financial outcomes as the primary target. It was designed around operational metrics. Good point. All right, first hypothesis to test is local optimization. This is a classic trap in a mature lean program. Individual cells, lines, or departments achieve strong metrics. So they're kind of looking at it at the micro level there. A line that runs at a high OEE and low scrap by running large batches of the same product, which looks excellent on the scoreboard, but builds finished goods inventory. So tells you some stuff to look at. Um, to test this hypothesis, you need contribution margin by product line. So it tells you some more uh, information you need to get. A lean program that is generally creating flow will show improving inventory turns. A lean program that is creating local efficiency without system level flow will show flat or worsening inventory turns. The second hypothesis is that the cost structure has shifted in ways the lean program was never designed to address. So this kind of looking at things that weren't part of the initial. So have your raw material prices gone up? Has energy gone up? Different regulatory, so you have to do more testing or something like that. Different capital requirements. So having you look at that. Third hypothesis, and the one that connects directly to the rising turnover, is that the lean program created a culture of metric performance rather than a culture of genuine improvement. So, supervisors learn which numbers get reviewed and managed to those numbers. Operators learn which behaviors get recognized and exhibit those behaviors. So that's a look at the people side of it and the cultural side of it. Turnover signal is important here and deserves its own investigation thread. Rising turnover in a high performing operation is a specific pattern that points towards one of three things: compensation falling behind market rates, workload increasing without corresponding recognition or reward, or the work environment becoming progressively less engaging as standardization removes autonomy and problem solving from the frontline role. So, again, looking at the culture side of it and what can be contributing to the um, turnover. So, this tells you to get some exit interviews, collect kind of turnover data. Fourth hypothesis is that lean program has been measuring activity rather than impact. To test this, ask for financial benefit tracking on the last 20 completed lean projects. So are you just finishing projects, or are you doing meaningful projects that's actually turning into revenue? Uh, if the organization has not been doing post implementation financial verification, that absence is itself a significant finding. It means the CI program has been operating on faith that operational improvements translate to financial outcomes. Then, before making any recommendations, the data package you need is a 5-year EBITDA bridge by cost driver, contribution margin by product line and customer segment, um, and then it was financial verification record on complete CI projects. So, kind of walked you through 4 different things to look at there. Pretty much saying you need more data collection, but it was a pretty good answer in the aspect that it asked you what to do to start getting looked at, and it looks like it comes down a lot to: did you create a program to have a program, um, or did you create a program to get some financial benefit out of that program? So you definitely need a mix of both. You need that cultural change, but man, if you're not going in the right direction on your metrics as far as putting money in your bank account, then you're just hanging stuff up on the wall. It's really all you're doing. So that's how it works. Those are pretty detailed questions. But like I said, they came from chat. I just threw them in here just as we got going, so I hadn't even read them. Um, you don't have to be that detailed in your questions, really. Like I said, it's going to learn you. It's going to learn your behavior. It's going to learn your speech patterns. It's going to learn all about you as you feed it more. So those were detailed, but it wouldn't get to that point. There'd also be a follow up aspect to this. So you put this question in place, and then you don't open the app again for a week or so. It's going to prompt you. It's going to come back and say, "Hey, where are we at on this? Have you started collecting data A, B, C, and D?" Try to keep you going. That's the whole point. Really, just think of it straight as a text chain. That's how I think about it. I'm texting a member of my team who's not sitting right next to me or is not in the office today. But they get right back to you. So, like I said, everyone who's tried it so far seems to like it, so that's a good sign. I'm really looking forward to more of the feedbacks so that we can keep improving it. See what more information we need to add. What are some questions that maybe people are asking us is not giving good or vague answers, but so far that has not been the case. But built for beginner level to, like, as you see, black belt level. Even the green belt question was pretty advanced for someone who just kind of playing around with it. Let me know what you think. OpsVectra.com/AI. The link is below if interested. If you want to have some one-on-one time as far as doing some demonstrations with me or my team, we're happy to do that. But hopefully this kind of give you a feeling of what it's all about.